Hi, well, welcome to another edition of the DJ Roscoe Sports Show for this Thursday, January 26, 2023, coming to you live from Black Trolley, as my kiddos would say. And we got a lot of fun things to talk about today. I'm waiting for my daughter to get out of dance class. She's having a great time. She's going to do some fun Dr. Seuss dance recital coming up in June. And then she's going to do the Willy Wonka play at the Kids Theater in Wilkes-Barre coming up at the end of March. So very exciting stuff. We have our Final Four for football. It's exciting, but it's bittersweet because it means the football season will be coming to an end very soon. We had very fun divisional round games on Saturday and Sunday, and now we go to the Conference Championship Sunday this weekend on Sunday, January 29th. And it's going to kick off at 3 p.m. in the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Eagles destroyed the New York Giants. Giants got a nice win over the Vikings, and then the Eagles they wiped them out just like that. It was 28-0 before they could even blink, and they won 38-7. Eagles get the big win over the Giants, win their third game in a row over the Giants. And whether he's still banged up and just trying to get through the pain and getting through it, Jalen Hurts looked like the Jalen Hurts of old. The MVP candidate was a stud at quarterback, and Lane Johnson came back from his injury, and they were running the ball like heck, and they were just overpowered them, running and passing the ball, and on defense, made Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, who now hopefully the New York Giants can re-sign in the offseason, just made them look silly. So it was a great season for the Giants, made the playoffs first time in 6 years. Brian Daboll did a great job his first year as a head coach, got the most out of Daniel Jones at quarterback. Saquon Barkley had a big comeback season, and they even won a playoff game for the first time since they won their last Super Bowl 12 years ago, 11 seasons ago. But it's always going to leave a little bit bitter taste in your mouth when your division rival wipes the floor with you. But still, it was a fun season. It was great to see them beat the Vikings first round of the playoffs and make New York football a winning thing, because as my Jets have now 12 years in a row have failed to make the playoffs in a 12-year playoff drought. But there is possible news on that. They got Nathaniel Hackett to be their offensive coordinator, who was past the offensive coordinator for the Bills and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and there was the Denver Broncos head coach for this season alone. Got fired during the season. Did not work out with Russell Wilson. His time management skills seem to be lacking during the game, and then Russell Wilson at quarterback really regressed and struggled, so who knows if he'll bounce back under a new coaching regime. But he used to work as an offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers, and this week, who knows if it's real or not, he was talking about possibility that the Packers would be willing to trade Aaron Rodgers so they can let Jordan Love play, get possibly 2 first-round picks. We get lots of compensation for a guy turning 40 at the end of this year, in December 2nd. And even though he might have 2 or 3 great years left, he's been, he had a mediocre year for him after winning 2 MVPs in a row. Lost his star receiver Devontae Adams to go to the Raiders, who now lost his star quarterback Derek Carr, who's now going to be looking for a new home in free agency. And maybe he'll want to reunite with him with the Raiders. But maybe he wants to come back to the Jets. The Jets supposedly are willing to pay the 2 first-round pick compensation, possibly, that the Packers might want. They're willing to pay the $50 million a year, which is a crazy salary for a guy about to be 40 years old, for anyone, basically, to play Aaron Rodgers. And he can play in the big spotlight of New York City. He's already a big-time superstar playing on Green Bay Packers, a big-time franchise in the NFL, on all the State Farm commercials with Pat Mahomes. But maybe he'd be willing to come to the Jets, like Brett Favre did, but maybe for more than just a year, and excel in New York, bring them a championship, make them relevant, because New York has not been in the playoffs in 12 years. They've only won that one Super Bowl back in Super Bowl III, and that's 54 years ago, back in 1969, under Joe Namath. I feel like, as a long-suffering Jet fan, he sold his soul to the devil, because the Jets seemed like they're never going to get back. I'd take it as, they were 7-10, they were 7-4, looking great, and then they lost 6 in a row, and Zach Wilson looks inept and incompetent out there, quarterback, and Mike White just was banged up and injured, and at times was up and down. I would just love to see it. So praying, hallelujah, that we could have maybe 2 good New York teams in football later this year in 2023. Maybe Aaron Rodgers could get traded to the Jets and be reunited with Nathaniel Hackett as his offensive coordinator. So we're hoping for that. But the Giants, their season came to an end after a nice run, going to the playoffs, winning a playoff game. But the Eagles crushed them 38-7, so they're going to the NFC Championship game. The earlier game on Saturday, the Jaguars, they played them tough, but in the end, the Chiefs won 27-20. Jaguars had a heck of a season after all the debacle with Urban Meyer's their coach, not being able to win games. My buddy Dan Torres covering the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. They won a bunch of games. They won 5 in a row after starting off the year 4-8, finished 9-8, won the division title, got the home playoff game, came back from 27-0 to Justin Herbert and the Chargers, and they won that playoff game miraculous fashion after a horrible first half by Trevor Lawrence's playoff debut with 4 interceptions. The Jaguars won that game, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars, they played the Chiefs tough, gave the Chiefs all they could want and more. And then Pat Mahomes got banged up with a high ankle sprain. Luckily, it's just a high ankle sprain. Nothing's torn or broken. But he seemed like he was in agony. Just handed the ball off to the running back, just trying to scramble and get out of the pocket like he likes to do and find open receivers. But Pat Mahomes showed he's a gamer. He came out for a little bit. Chad Henne led them on a nice 98-yard touchdown drive, but he came out in the second half. At times, his passes looked ugly. He looked like he was banged up. But he got it done, and he played through the pain, and that's what legends are made of, guys who can play through the pain and get it done. So the Chiefs held on, beat the Jaguars 27-20, so they're going back to the AFC Championship game for 5 straight seasons, and they'll be hosting it for the 5th straight season. Will not have to be at a alternate site, which would have been in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Falcons Dome Stadium, because the Bengals upset the Buffalo Bills in snowy, cold Buffalo. I feel bad for Dana Fred. Happy birthday. She celebrated her big birthday yesterday. We got to sing happy birthday to you. But unfortunately, her Buffalo Bills couldn't get it done. They were expected to go to the Super Bowl, have a great magical run this year. Finishing just short the last 2 years to the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. And this was going to finally be the year. The only thing we were going to get the top seed. And then, of course, the horrible cardiac arrest thing happened with Damar Hamlin. He luckily seems to be okay. He was sitting up in the press, the luxury suite, with cheer on his Buffalo Bills with his family to get out of the cold weather. And you were hoping they were going to find a way. They barely beat the Dolphins. You thought, oh, maybe there's just bad turnovers and they would get over it. They barely beat a banged up Dolphins team without Tua the week before at home, but they at home had another chance to play the Bengals, and this time Joe Burrow. It's hard to bet against Joe Burrow. He gets it done. He made a miraculous turnaround with the Bengals when he came to the year, in 2020. Got hurt late that year because he was well on his way to be Rookie of the Year. Then last year went on a great playoff run, got them to the Super Bowl, almost beat the Rams in that Super Bowl. And this year they are back in the AFC Championship on the precipice of going to their back-to-back Super Bowls for the second year in a row. They hadn't won a playoff game in like 31 years until last year when they beat the Raiders and the Titans and the Chiefs. And now they're going to face the Kansas City Chiefs again for the second year in a row, back in Arrowhead Stadium in noisy Kansas City. But I think nothing will affect Joe Burrow. They crushed the Buffalo Bills. It wasn't even this close. It was 27-10. Won by 3 scores, and Joe Burrow got off to an early 14-0 lead. He was just dynamic offensively, just Joe Cool with his passes in brutal cold weather in between him and his star receiver from college at LSU and now the NFL, Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon. The offensive attack of Joe Burrow just gets it done, and he was playing with a banged-up offensive line with a lot of guys out. And, as long as they can keep that together, because Kansas City, they're not a great defense, but they can rush the passer. If they can keep him protected, Joe Burrow is cool and collected. I don't think he cares where he's playing, home or the road or Timbuktu. And he has beaten Pat Mahomes 3 times in a row. He's 3-0 against him. And last year, they paid off the big upset in the AFC Championship when it looked like the Chiefs were going to run away with that game last year, go to the Super Bowl for the 3rd year in a row. So now, Chiefs are in the AFC Championship 5th year in a row. The Bengals are in the championship game for the 2nd year in a row, trying to get to the Super Bowl for the 2nd straight year. And then the NFC, I loved it. My Jets couldn't get it done this year. Giants couldn't do it. My Steelers couldn't get it done. They almost got back to the playoffs. They at least finished with a win record for 16th year in a row with Mike Tomlin, and the Eagles are on a run. But if my teams can't get it done, I'm so happy. I can't stand the New England Patriots. All the years with Brady the Patriots nowadays, and the Dallas Cowboys. They lost. Everyone expected them to win. Skip Bayless was so cocky. I love to see him just be destroyed on social media and on his show with Shannon Sharp, who was going crazy at the Lakers game the other night. And they lost 19-12 to the 49ers. 49ers win at home, and they will get to the NFC Championship game for the 2nd year in a row, and it'll be very interesting to see what's going to happen there. So I'm very happy that the 49ers got it done. That kicker, Marr, at least Brett Marr, he made 2 field goals, but he missed another extra point that would have been missed anyway, but it got blocked. But I feel bad for him. He has the yips. I don't think the Cowboys can bring him back. I don't think they could have brought him back if they weren't able to, if they were able to move on to the next round. But the Dallas Cowboys, they are knocked out. I like the local kid, Connor McGovern. I root for him. But Dak Prescott, more interceptions, 2 interceptions, was just inept out there. Tony Pollard, unfortunately, they have to re-sign him as a free agent. So running back, he broke his fibula, so that was a horrible injury. Ezekiel Elliott's not what he used to be. CeeDee Lamb was held in check, and the 49ers got done with their rookie quarterback, Brock Purdy, who they've won like 12 games in a row now, the Niners, and they've won like 10 with him. So the Niners now, red hot, will go on the road to take on the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia, in a noisy stadium where the Eagle fans, they're going to be tailgated since the morning, maybe the night before, and they're going to be smelling blood, smelling their Super Bowl championship. This is trying to get back to Super Bowl for the first time in 5 years, when they won their one and only Super Bowl when Nick Foles took over for Carson Wentz. And they won that magical run and beat Tom Brady, the Patriots, in that Super Bowl 5 years ago. So in Minnesota, and now they're trying to get back to Glendale, Arizona, on February 12th on Super Bowl Sunday in a couple of weeks. So it's going to be exciting. It's sad that the football season's almost over. There'll be XFL coming. The Rock's new XFL starts already February 19th. And the USFL is going to be back in April. The Pittsburgh team, the Pittsburgh Ballers, they at least are out of the weird purple and orange uniforms. They're going to be wearing the black and gold, the iconic Steelers and Penguins and Pirates looking uniforms. But they still won't play in Pittsburgh. They'll play in Canton, Ohio, a little closer, where the Hall of Fame is at Tom Benson Stadium. So there will be some minor league football. There's basketball, hockey as they get ready for the playoffs before you know it. And baseball will be back before you know it, because baseball already, March 30th is already opening day for Major League Baseball. Can't wait. March, which is just about 2 months away, March 31st, the Rail Riders opening day, the Electric City in Scranton, and then pitchers and catchers, February 13th for the World Baseball Classic people. They show up February 13th, which is just about 2 weeks away. So today's the 26th, so 18 days away. And then World Baseball Classic, March 8th through the 21st. First Yankee spring training game is February 25th. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I can't get enough of it as a diehard baseball fan. I know my wife says I'm crazy. The countdown, 5, and then they said to be no math here, 33. So 63 days away from opening day for Major League Baseball. So 7 weeks from today will be opening day. Play ball. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ground. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I won't care if I ever get back, because it's root for the home team. If they don't win and shake this LJ's ball and glove, because there's 1, 2, 3 strikes here out in the old ball game. Play ball. So that'll be here for you know it. And Fred McGriff, who got picked by the Veterans Committee, finally, long overdue, just under 500 home runs, 493 home runs, great career. Won the World Series with the Atlanta Braves. He's going to the Hall of Fame, and they announced this week that Scott Rowland, as much as it stunk as a person who rooted for the Phillies growing up, he wanted out of Philly. He went to the Cardinals, won a World Series with the Cardinals in 2006, won a lot of Gold Gloves. Also played for the Blue Jays and the Cincinnati Reds, but he deservedly a great defensive third baseman, a power hitting third baseman, had over 2,000 hits, and he got in finally as a Hall of Famer. It was great to see the video, him hugging his mom and dad. I think his grandparents were in the video as well. So Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff will go into the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, I think July 23rd. So that's going to be exciting that they'll be honored. But no A-Rod again. I'm excited because A-Rod doesn't deserve it. I think he was in steroids. He was a great player probably without it, but we don't know. He supposedly did it when he was younger or older. We don't know what made him as great as he was. He probably would have been great without it. But I think, especially for the guys who were born with anyone, but if you were born with tons of talent and you still have to cheat, it ruins the integrity of the game, and also it gives bad influence for kids who think, oh, we could just take a shortcut. And he made millions of dollars. He's the owner of the Timberwolves. He's, was with J-Lo, a lot of superstars. He's made a ton of money. He's still a star broadcasting games for baseball. But that's one thing you can take away is no Hall of Fame. So he didn't get in. Todd Helton almost got in. He was just 11 votes shy. He was at 72%. You need 75% of the baseball writers. So hopefully he'll get in next year. I think Todd Helton will get in soon. I think they're holding it back because Coors Field, they think with the Mile High Air, it just made it easier to hit home runs. But Todd Helton deservedly will get in the Hall of Fame soon. He just finished short. Bonds and Clemens still aren't in. And McGuire and Sosa are still like they're ever going to get in. So there were some close ones, and I think along the way, Scott Rowland started off at 10% of the vote. He got up to 75% of the vote after a few years on the ballot. I think it took him 7 years on the ballot. So congrats to Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff. They will go to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and baseball back before you know it, so I'm excited for that. Basketball, hockey getting close to the All-Star break in the stretch run, so I'm excited for that. And LeBron James getting closer to the all-time scoring record of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In just a few more games, he should be able to get the way he's been red hot, score over 30 points a game. They got Anthony Davis back the other night. They came back at home and beat the San Antonio Spurs. So he's been red hot, and I think he's only like 155 points away from the all-time record, which is super impressive, along with his other accolades. Maybe no Michael Jordan, but he's going to be the all-time leading scorer in basketball, 4 NBA championships, 10 NBA Finals appearances. Maybe he rubs people the wrong way, but he's been a class act on and off the court since coming out of high school at such a young age, at 18 years old, and now 38 years old, 20 years later, still dominating basketball. So I digress. But yes, for football playoffs, we're down at the championship Sunday, and then next week's going to be that weird, not even a real Pro Bowl this year. They're going to have in Vegas like Pro Bowl games, and the Eli Manning and Peyton Manning, the Manning brothers, are going to help run. And so that will be fun to watch, but it's not even a real Pro Bowl, and after a while it became a two-hand touch, not a real game anyway. And then Super Bowl February 12th, and then football just abruptly ends like that. I know there's free agency, trades, hopefully Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, I cross my fingers, and then the NFL drafts in April. But you got, like I said, the XFL coming back in February 19th, the week after the Super Bowl, and then the USFL coming back as well. So there'll be some spring football. Hopefully those leagues coexist. I think eventually they'll have to merge together. But my picks, 3 o'clock Sunday, Championship Sunday in Philadelphia. The San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a tough one to pick, but I'm going to have to pick it. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I'm going to say Eagles, get it done. Close, 27-24. The Eagles knock off the 49ers. Brock Purdy, I think, is going to experience a lot of pressure between the hometown crowd in Philadelphia going against him. And he was just mediocre last week with Michael Parsons and the Cowboys. Defense that played well. It was more Dak Prescott who played terribly for the Cowboys offense. So I think the Eagles will be able, if they can rush the passer, even with all his star players, Deebo Samuels and Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle, I think he'll do well. But I think Brock Purdy will have a pretty tough pass rush, pretty good Eagles defense. And I just think that the 49ers will finish just short. Jalen Hurts, if he's relatively healthy, and Lane Johnson, the rest of the Eagles offensive line can keep him protected, run and throw the ball. I think the Eagles get it done. Eagles at home win 27-24. They win by 3 points. Win the NFC Championship game at home in Philadelphia at the Lincoln Financial Stadium at the Link, and they will go to the Super Bowl Arizona on February 12th. To try to win their second ever Super Bowl championship, fourth ever Super Bowl appearance for the Eagles. They lost the first one to the Raiders back in the early 80s, lost the second appearance the first time when they played Tom Brady, the Patriots, when they won back-to-back Super Bowl titles in 2003, 2004, won the Super Bowl title in upset fashion in the 2017 season in February 2018 with Nick Foles at the Philly special, and Doug Peterson did such a great job now for the Jaguars and almost beat his mentor Andy Reid last week. And he led the Super Bowl title, and now I think they'll be back to Super Bowl this year. Eagles over the 49ers, 27-24 to go to the Super Bowl. The next one is going to be a great game. It's going to be one for both games. I think will be great for Super Bowl on Championship Sunday. 6:30 p.m. CBS. The Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals. The people used to tease them that they were just horrible and that they were more for getting in trouble their players off the field than being stars on the field. And now the Bengals have totally turned around, and it's because of Joe Cool and their young head coach has gotten it done. And the Bengals, they've overcome a lot. They were part of the DeMar Hamlin situation as well on their home field. And they worked together with the Buffalo Bills, and they made sure to do the right thing, suspend that game when people were saying, 5 minutes, and they have to come back out there, which wasn't the right thing to do. And the Bengals went on the road, beat the Bills after winning a close one against the Ravens the week before, dominated the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, made Josh Allen look silly out there. Stephon Diggs was throwing up his hands and yelling at his quarterback, which isn't right. But the Bengals get to face the Kansas City Chiefs for the second year in a row. Kansas City been the AFC Championship all 5 years that Pat Mahomes has been the starting quarterback for them. 2018, they lost that thriller in overtime to Tom Brady and the Patriots, where Mahomes didn't get to touch the ball. 2019, they won the AFC Championship game over the Titans. They won that first Super Bowl in 50 years. 2020, they won the AFC Championship game over the Buffalo Bills in a thriller. And then in 2021, last year, they lost a heartbreaker to the Bengals after winning that thrilling game to Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, that game where they scored every 5 seconds whoever had the ball last. This is one of the tough one to pick. I loved Andy Reid from his days with the Eagles. I love the offensive mindedness and the offensive genius. I love Travis Kelce. And if the Chiefs and the Eagles could both go, that'd be the first time ever to Super Bowl. The brothers can face off each other. Travis Kelce on the Eagles, and of course Jason Kelce, star Pro Bowl center of the Eagles. Would be great to see. They both have Super Bowl championships from the Eagles' 27 title, the 2019 title for the Chiefs. And then, of course, they have Juju Smith-Schuster. I wish we could have won it with the Steelers, but he's on the Chiefs. My daughter loves him as a Juju doll. My wife and I were always big Juju fans of the Steelers. Hopefully one day he returns to the Steelers, at least before his career wraps up, and he would have a chance to win a Super Bowl. Pat Mahomes, I'm a big fan of, between his commercials and how talented he is on the field. He's such a superstar. But in the end, I'm still suspect about his injury. The Bengals defense underrated. The high ankle sprain, as much as they said it's okay, and he seems to be okay, I'm sure they'll numb it up and inject it before the game. He's been practicing all week. I'm going to be secretly rooting for the Chiefs because I'd love to see Andy Reid and the Chiefs get it done, and Juju get a chance, and Pat Mahomes get it done, and the Kelsey brothers face off the Super Bowl. But I can't pick against Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow doesn't care where he plays. He can play on the moon, or he can play in Kansas City or cold frigid Buffalo last week. But Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and all their star receivers and tight ends, and Joe Mixon and the underrated defensive Hubbard with that big return against the Ravens, that 98-yard return to win them the game 2 weeks ago. I think the Bengals, it might just be their season. I think the Bengals are going to get it done. I might be drinking the Kool-Aid, but I'm picking and the Bengals right now are actually slight favorites on the road in Kansas City, which is a rare thing. He's never been an underdog in his career, Pat Mahomes, in the playoffs. But maybe by everyone thinking that they can't get it done and his injuries, that people are suspect on if he can come back in full strength, maybe this is all they need. The Chiefs have so much bulletin board material at home, they'll get it done and they'll surprise everyone, and especially if the Bengals offensive line can't protect Joe Burrow. But I think they do enough to protect Joe Burrow, the offensive line. I think the defense will get it done, and the Chiefs will play them tough. But I think in the end, Joe Burrow and the Bengals, just too much. It's still tough to pick, but I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. I'm gonna go with 27-20, the same score of last week. The Chiefs edged out the Jaguars. I'm gonna go 27-20. Joe Burrow, the Bengals make the Super Bowl for the second year in a row, and they knock off the Chiefs at home in Kansas City. Big road victory for the Bengals, 27-20. So 3:00 on Fox on Sunday in Philadelphia. I'm gonna go with Eagles over the 49ers, 27-24 to go to the Super Bowl, and 6:30 on CBS with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo calling the game. I'm gonna go with the Bengals, pull it off what I would still think is an upset, but Joe Cool will get it done, 27-20 over the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl for the second year in a row. And then we'll have Bengals and Eagles. And my early prediction of that Super Bowl, I might be going crazy, and that's who I'd be definitely rooting for, the Eagles, because I love the Eagles since especially moving to Pennsylvania. Even when they were mediocre, they were garbage back in the day when they won 3-4 games a year. I love watching Don McNabb play the Eagles on all those teams that came close to win a Super Bowl back in the early 2000s, and I'm so happy when they finally won their first Super Bowl 5 years ago. But my early prediction would be the Bengals and Joe Burrow. They get it done. They start off the year very mediocre, and they even lost to my wife's Steelers earlier in the year with lots of craziness that first game of the season. My early pick would be, though I'd be rooting for the Eagles this game, would be the Bengals over the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I would go with 27-24 Bengals over the Eagles in the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks, in February 12th in Arizona on Fox at the Arizona Cardinals Stadium. So that's my early prediction of that. But we first have to see who gets to it. So again, my prediction is Eagles over the 49ers, 27-24 to go to the Super Bowl and win the NFC Championship game at home in Philadelphia. And the AFC, I'll go with the Bengals beating the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes in Kansas City, 27-20 in another. Both games will be classic, excited thriller games. 27-20 Bengals. Joe Burrow gets it done. Joe Cool over the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl for second year in a row, and then Bengals over the Eagles, 27-24 would be my prediction on Super Bowl Sunday in a couple weeks. So we love to hear from what you have to say. If I'm crazy, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, be there. Take to call me the morning. Jamie Double Man, hasta la vista, baby. It is not a tuba and things that nature. See, it's for cookie, that's good enough for me. Oh, see, it's for cookie, that's good enough for me. Oh, cookie, so to say. Yeah. So that's our show. So I hope you enjoy the picks, agree or disagree. Love to hear it. There's some good movies. Shotgun Wedding with J-Lo and Josh Duhamel. That's going to come to Amazon Prime tomorrow on Friday, January 27th. Watch it at home and stream it. On Netflix, a very funny looking movie, You People, with the great legendary, what's his name? The ultimate legend, one of my favorite comedians of all time, one of my idols is a comedic fan, Eddie Murphy. Jonah Hill write it with Kenya Barris, who's behind the hilarious Blackish show. Julia Stiles, Elaine from Seinfeld, who's also in Veep. She's done a lot of great things. And David Duchovny. It just looks hilarious. Nia Long's in it as Eddie Murphy's wife. You People, it looks like just a hilarious movie and blended of cultures. It just looks like a fun time, and that's going to be on Netflix tomorrow on Friday, January 27th as well. So you got You People on Netflix for the 27th, and you have Shotgun Wedding on Amazon Prime on the 27th. Avatar is still doing great in the movie theaters. Next week, February 3rd, you got 80 for Brady with Rita Moreno, Sally Field, Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin going to see Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski in the Super Bowl. They came back from 28-3 down from the Falcons. 8 for Brady looks hilarious. That comes out next Friday, February 3rd. And then February 17th, the week after the Super Bowl, you have Paul Rudd and Ant-Man 3. Looks like it's going to be a great time. Hilarious and also action-packed with the Kang Dynasty set up the next Avenger movies. The next big superhero movie comes out February 17th. So the trailers have looked good for that. So a lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff on the streaming sites at home. Movie theaters as well. TV shows. A lot of excitement going back. Abbott Elementary. Still loving that show. Finally finished This Is Us last year. That was a great time. New Amsterdam we finished up. Resident, all that stuff. And then the sixth and final season they announced will be the final season coming up probably later this year, if not next year. Next year will be the final year of Stranger Things. Will be on Netflix. Cobra Kai, the great continuation of the Karate Kid with Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso. Love that show. I knew it had to come in soon because they're wrapping up a lot of storylines, bringing back a lot of people from their past. But the sixth and final season of Cobra Kai will come to Netflix at some point, probably this upcoming year. So a lot of great things, shows, movies, a lot of great fun movies this weekend. Great football this weekend. Baseball's almost back. Hall of Fame, Scott Rowland, Fred McGriff going to the Hall of Fame. That's exciting. Aaron Rodgers possibly, fingers crossed, go to the NFL. Hallelujah. It's go to my New York Football Jets. Try to break their 12-year playoff drought. Maybe win a Super Bowl. Who knows? Drink the Kool-Aid and maybe he can get done like Super Bowl III back in 1969 with Joe Namath. And basketball, hockey, a lot of exciting stuff. Baby Penguins play Saturday night. Check them out. At Mohegan Sun Arena, Case Plaza with Tux and the Penguins. The basketball go waddle waddle. We'll wrap up the show by singing a song for my beautiful wife Abby. Love you all my heart. My handsome son LJ, who just turned 3 years old last week, and my beautiful daughter Lorelai, who I had to pick her up from dance class now. We're doing this in the parking lot, and she's 5 and a half, gonna be 6 in July, and I'll just sing a song and say, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. So please don't take my sunshine away. So please don't take my sunshine away. I love you, that is true. Love you, Laura. Love you, Aldrin. Love you, Lulu. And love you guys each and every week to tune in to the DJ Roscoe Sports Show. Your home for all your favorite sports and entertainment talk right here, DJ Roscoe Sports Show. Have a great weekend, everyone, and take care. Bye-bye.